Are you thinking about becoming a first-time home buyer? Thinking about finding a new town and a realtor? If you said yes, keep watching. So recently I've been reading a lot of things about how if you're a first-time home buyer that's thinking about buying a home, you need to quit thinking about it and do it sooner than later. Right now, rent prices are outpacing home prices in most of the country, and it's predicted that's just going to continue. On top of that, home prices are expected to keep climbing over the next handful of years. There's a couple reasons for that. In 2022, there are 45 million millennials entering the prime first-time buying age range from 26 to 35. And as the next few years go on, that number is going to be climbing. That means there's more competition to buy a house, and that means higher prices. If you're one of those people that is waiting for home prices to drop, you're going to be waiting a long time. Chances are slim that you'll see anything significant drop like we had in 2008 again in our lifetime. At least nationwide. You can find little pockets where home prices might go down a little bit, but nothing major. In the second quarter of 2020, the median sales price for a house in the United States was $322,000. In fourth quarter 2021, it was $408,000. Prices are not going down in any significant way in the foreseeable future. If you're thinking about it, right now's the time to buy a house. Now, there's a lot more that goes into this. That's just the basics of it. The good news is there's still some decent places to buy a home in the United States that's affordable. For this video, we searched all the towns, suburbs, and cities in the United States that have a lot of inventory, meaning you have a lot of homes to choose from that are still affordable, perfect for first-time home buyers. There should be a lot of research that goes into this for anyone that's thinking about it. This just kind of gives you an idea of what's out there. If you do want to do this, make sure you find a real estate agent that has a good reputation with first-time home buyers and go find yourself a house. Little disclaimer, I'm not a real estate agent in any way, shape, or form. I'm not an expert. I'm just giving you some food for thought, some things you might want to look at that might be interesting. Make sure you do your own research. All right, let's see some of these hidden gems. Number 10, Ferndale, Michigan. For those of you that just spit out whatever you were drinking, Ferndale, Michigan is a Detroit suburb, and it's not that bad. Statistically, this is a decent place to live. It's cheap, it's fairly safe, and it's got a lot of potential looking forward. Here's the downside. It is a suburb of Detroit, and that means cold winters, and you're living near one of the worst cities in the United States. On a positive note, Detroit is getting better. It just has a long way to go. Ferndale is perfect for first-time home buyers on a budget, and if you work remotely, this is considered a hidden gem. Now, the median listing price, not the sales price, is $111,000 here for a normal home. Median home prices are 13% lower than the national average, but rent is 14% higher than the national average. Just looking at Realtor.com and Zillow and stuff like that, they are all over the map. You can buy a vacant lot for $75,000 to $85,000. You could buy older homes for $150,000, but you can get stuff that's in decent shape, that is livable, under $250,000. They do have a good amount of new construction going on, and those usually go for $350,000 on up. If you could get past the whole living in Detroit and it might be a little dangerous when you leave your neighborhood, this is a solid option. Number 9, Grimes, Iowa. Grimes, Iowa has a population of over 12,000 residents, and it is in the Des Moines metro area. It's on the north side. It's about 20 minutes from downtown Des Moines, Iowa. This is one of the fastest growing suburbs or cities in Iowa. And they got a lot of inventory if you're looking for a house. And it ranges, it's all over the place. It goes from $600,000 on down to $150,000 in some cases. You can get nice older homes here for the $200,000 to $240,000 area. Occasionally one will pop up around $150,000 to $160,000. Now that's the realistic prices. The median home value here is $188,000. And that's never really realistic. Go to Google, go to Realtor.com, take a look. Chances are you could find something for $240,000 that is livable and decent and ready to go. This is a solid place to live. Their crime rate is 43% lower than the national average, and their cost of living is 3% lower. And if you rent here, it's actually 10% higher than the national average. The median rent price here is $1,047. And that is a month. I had someone text me the other day, or not text me, they DM me on Facebook because I said something was like $950 talking about rent. And they're all, is that a month or is that a year? I'm like, if you could find a rental property for $950 a year, let me know. We could live there together. So let's just all assume rental prices go by month, okay? I'm sure most of you that just heard that story are thinking, what is going on with the education system in the United States that a question like that is asked? The quality of life score in Grimes is 88. That is outstanding. Number 8, Syracuse, Utah. Yep, Utah has a Syracuse also, not just New York. Now, Syracuse is a little more expensive, but it has some bonuses that some of these other places might not have. They have jobs here, and the jobs they have are pretty good paying jobs. It is in the Ogden-Clearfield metro area, just west of Hill Air Force Base. This is a great place to live. If you know anything about the Ogden, Salt Lake, Provo area, it's hard to find a really bad neighborhood or town in this area. It's really nice. It's one of the most desirable metro areas to move to. All three of them, I should say. But like I said, this one has some positives, some of the other ones don't. So this one's more expensive, but it gets on the list. Their schools are excellent, the cost of living isn't terrible, and their crime rate is extremely low. It's actually 79% lower than the national average. Now here's the sticky part. The median home value here is $256,000. That isn't terrible. It's about 29% higher than the national average. Rent is about 65% higher than the national average, so you definitely want to buy a house if you're moving here. They have a lot of inventory to choose from here as far as houses go. It's kind of hard to find one under $400,000. $400,000 is like really the starting point if you're looking for a house. It goes up to like $600,000, but you could find around $400,000, maybe to $370,000. That's decent and livable. The quality of life score in Syracuse, Utah is 80. One of the best parts, there's a couple different websites that where you can almost leave a Yelp review on a city or whatever. They always have that thing where the locals get to comment. This gets nothing but an A+ rating. Everyone that lives here seems to love it. But that's not going to stop someone that maybe used to live there when they were a disgruntled teenager that's going to say what a horrible place it is. We always get it, no matter what. You could be living downtown Disney and some kid's going to try and claim street cred because he lived there. I grew up on the streets of downtown Disney. But Syracuse, Utah has a lot of homes to choose from, and it's got a quality of life score of 80. And that ain't terrible. Number 7, Fishers, Indiana. Fishers, Indiana is in the Indianapolis metro area, and this is not a bad place to live. Indianapolis has seen better days. It's not the greatest place right now. It's far better than like Detroit, which we talked about earlier, but Fishers is a pretty decent place to live. They're a little more expensive, but it has a lot of inventory, and they got a lot of homes that are a decent price. They say the median home value is $225,000. It's about 22% higher than the national average, and rent is about 20% above the national average. But if you look realistically at what's going on there, you could find duplexes, part of a duplex, for about $200,000, and they have plenty of older homes for under $275,000. Lots of them. If you want to get something decent that's brand new, you're looking at about $325,000 on up. I've seen some here for like $600,000. This is not a bad place to live. They have a lot of things to do. They have great schools, low crime. Their crime rate is actually 75% lower than the national average. Not bad. Put all those numbers together and they got an 86 quality of life score. Number 6, Madison, Alabama. Madison, Alabama is in the Huntsville metro area. It's between downtown Huntsville and the Tennessee River. Now, I give Alabama a hard time quite often, and it's their cities are decent. It's just they got some really backwoods towns, and Alabama takes it to a new level of backwoods. I'm talking overalls, 5 broken down cars, and a moonshine still backwoods. And if you tell me I'm wrong, I'll argue it with you because I've seen it. Alabama's like bronze medalists in the backwoods Olympics. They're right behind Mississippi and West Virginia. But Madison is not backwoods. Madison's actually a really nice place to live. They've got all the right stats in all the right places. Their livability score is actually 89. Their crime rate is 52% lower than the national average. They have jobs, and their housing, it's a little bit higher than I'd like to see it, but it's decent. It's actually 26% higher than the national average, giving their median home value $233,000. Their rent is actually one of the only ones on this list. It's 9% lower than the national average. So it's not the worst place to rent, but it's not great. You might as well buy a house here. Madison has a lot of vacant lots for sale, around $100,000. These are usually half an acre or whatever. Like we said, the median home value here is about $233,000, but realistically, if you want to get something decent here, it's going to be a little over $300,000, $325,000, $310,000. You still can find older homes for under $300,000, but honestly, you're going to be looking around $300,000 somewhere in there. They got a lot of houses to choose from all over the place. Even outside, like in Capshaw and Greenbrier, they got a lot of homes out there for sale. Plenty of inventory. Number 5, Indian Trail, North Carolina. Indian Trail is a suburb of the Charlotte metro area. It's on the south side of town. Great place to live with all the right stats and all the right places. My only question for Indian Trail is, when are they going to have to change the name Indian Trail? I mean, everything else that has to do remotely with the word Indian has been changed in recent years. But if you do want to move to Indigenous Trail, the median home value is $177,000. That's not bad. That's 4% lower than national average. The median rent price is about $1,100, which is 19% higher than the national average, and this is normally where we get someone that's going to pipe up with the rent's nowhere near that. Well, median is different than the average. You're probably looking at about $1,200 to $1,600 for a 2-bedroom place in Indian Trail. Their crime rate is 3% higher than the national average. It's not great, but it's definitely not terrible. They have good schools, they have things to do, it's right outside of Charlotte, and they have plenty of places to buy. Now, realistically, if you want to get a house here, you're looking at $350,000 up to get something decent. You might be able to find something under $300,000. There's not that many of them, though. Number 4, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Sun Prairie is just north of Madison, Wisconsin. In my opinion, Madison, Wisconsin is one of the best cities in the United States, especially if you're trying to raise a family or go to college. Sun Prairie is a great place to live. It has a cute little downtown, like little Main Street and all that, and it really doesn't look like a place where you would find cheap real estate. And this is a great place for new homeowners. They have a lot of homes to choose from, and they're relatively inexpensive, especially for the area. The median home value here is $206,200. Rent is only 3% higher than the national average. Again, not bad. The crime rate's 32% lower than the national average. And this is another place where 92% of the respondents said it's a great place to live. It is Wisconsin. You got to worry about the cold, but that's about it. This is a great place to live. Wisconsin, a lot like Minnesota and even Michigan, once you get past the mosquitoes, it's a great place to be in the summer. And the winters can get bad, so if you're one of those people that needs to live in Florida or Arizona, you might want to scratch this one off your list. But they have a lot of homes to choose from. Now, like I said, the median home value is about $206,000. Realistically, you're looking at around $250,000 for a duplex or something like that. If you want to get your own home and all that, and a decent one, you're looking at $340,000 on up. And it does go pretty high. They have some really nice newer homes that are going for like $800,000 and up, around that area. This is a great place to live, though. Wisconsin is a beautiful state, and it's great for families. Sun Prairie has a quality of life score of 87. Number 3, Hendersonville, Tennessee. Hendersonville is in the Nashville metro area. It's on the north side, right on the Cumberland River. Now, they say the median home value here is about $211,000, but like I said, they have a river right there, and if you're getting something near the river, it can get up to like $1.2 million and maybe a little above that. But if you go in away from the river, you could find homes that are about $320,000. That's about your starting off point. Realistically, though, right around $400,000 to $450,000, you're going to find something decent that you'll really enjoy, I'm sure. Hendersonville has great schools, they have a very low crime rate, and their cost of living is only 1% higher than the national average. Their crime rate is 51% lower than the national average, and it's been trending down for the last 3 years. As long as your budget is, let's say, $315,000 on up, you can find something really nice in Hendersonville. They've got plenty of homes to choose from. Hendersonville has a quality of life score of 86. Not bad, Hendersonville. And then, it's right outside of Nashville. Nashville's a great place to be living near. Number 2, Fremont, Nebraska. Fremont is not the best place to live on this list, but it is one of the absolute cheapest. The median home value here is $116,500. And on top of that, their cost of living is like 15% lower than the national average. It is definitely not expensive to live in Fremont, Nebraska. Fremont is just north of Omaha. It's not really in the metro area. It's a little too far out for that, but it's right on the Platte River. I think we've talked about it before. It's home to Midland University, which is a liberal arts college, and it's a safe place to live It's not the best on this list, but their crime rate is actually 1% lower than the national average. If you are watching this and you're thinking about renting, this is a great place to rent. Their rent is actually 24% lower than the US average. Their median rent price is about $724 a month. There it is again, a month, just in case anyone's confused and thinks that you pay your rent annually or bi-weekly or something like that. If you're paying your rent weekly, you're living in a motel, just so you know, in case you're confused. Now, like I said, the median home value here is $116,000, but realistically, if you got a budget of $200,000, you can get an okay place here. You start getting into the $260 to $350 area, you're gonna get a really nice place, and they got a lot of places to choose from here. The quality of life score in Fremont, Nebraska is 80. Not bad. All right, before we get to number one, don't forget we have another channel called On This Day. There is a link down below. We would love it if you went over, subscribed, watch a whole bunch of videos, tell me what you thought. All right, on to number one. And number one, Overland Park, Kansas. Overland Park, Kansas is one of the best suburbs in the United States at any price. It is always in like the top 10 best suburbs, top 10 best towns to raise a family. It is always there. And that's been going on as long as I've been doing these videos for like 6 years now. I've told a story before, but one time I was flying a drone out there and a cop pulled up and said, "Hey, we got some houses over there, so just make sure you don't get close to their windows or, be around there and you're good to go." And then he just drove off. Totally nice. This was back when everyone was anti-drone. Just totally cool cop, and just make sure you're not bothering anyone and do what you got to do. The median home value here is $237,000, which is not bad. It's a little higher than the national average, but it's not going to kill anyone. Their crime rate is actually 10% lower than the national average, and their cost of living is only 3% higher than the national average. You're right in Kansas City. It's not a bad place to live. Overland Park is just a couple miles from the Missouri border, which would be Kansas City, Missouri. And by the way, one of my favorite things to do is I have this drone shot from Missouri looking into Kansas City, Kansas. Sometimes I'll throw that up just so the people that have to make those comments, it's great. I just love watching them do that. It's almost like someone's at home blowing a gasket when they see that. It's the little things like that that keep me going. Overland Park, Kansas has a bunch of houses for sale right now. You can occasionally find them under $300,000, but realistically, you want to start looking around $320,000 on up, and you can get a good house here. Now, they do have some areas where they're up in the $600,000 area, but a majority of the houses here are in between $320,000 and $400,000. You'll be able to find something really nice. And if you're a first-time home buyer, this is probably one of the best places in the United States to start your journey on home ownership. Just make sure, whatever you do, get a real estate agent, check their Yelp page, talk to someone, make sure that there's someone that's good with first-time buyers. There's kind of a skill to it, because they kind of got to hold your hand through most of the process. All right, everyone, that's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, be nice to each other.